I started at 30K. I don't even know what a setter was. And now I'm at $1 million. Setters are, in my opinion, the most important part of the business. And they taught me what it was. And also the reality of it. People say like, this program's a scam. No program's a scam. You have something to learn from every single program. And the reality of business, whether it's sports cards, whether it's a garbage business, whether it's B2B, what you guys do, everything works. You just have to force it to work. If it was easy, everyone else would do it, right?
The way we usually start these off is just give me kind of a background of like, what is your offer? Who do you help? Who do you serve? And then like the price points for those.
Yep, cool. So we teach people how to make money buying and selling sports cards, not cars, cards with a D, C-A-R-D-S. We help white collar busy professionals. That's our main customer avatar. Our whole messaging is we will help you make a side income flipping sports cards. We're very specific in terms of this is not going to make you quit your job. This is like to cover the mortgage, cover some car payments, go on some extra vacations. We help those people. We have 2 programs. We sell everyone into a $2,000 program. Then we upsell them into a $10,000 program. Everyone must buy the $2,000 program first. And that is essentially our offer in a nutshell.
Yeah. And just to give, because I want to talk how you got into that space and all that kind of stuff, but just for people, for retention's sake, where did you start and then where are you now in the business?
In terms of money?
Yeah.
So we started when we joined 8-figure boardroom. So August of 22, we were doing about 30K a month at 20% margins. And then now, and this doesn't even sounds like I got paid to lie, but it's not a lie.
We'll swear.
We do $1 million a month in cash, not revenue, at about 50% margins. And to back that up, we just purchased a $1.3 million office. We actually signed on it yesterday as I'm speaking. It's not a lie. It's actually how much money we make.
Let's go, dude. It's super exciting just because I distinctly remember our conversation that you and one of your partners, we were eating dinner in, I think, the first Cabo event. And just like over dinner, just talking about, just talking about like what you guys are doing. I think you guys had just cracked the webinar, or at least maybe just like started, like locked yourself in. Like
just got into webinars. Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So how did you jump in? Like, how did you solidify on like that offer specifically? Because I think I was doing some research, and I think you used to like work with real estate agents and kind of did pull like agency things. So like, okay, how did you get started back?
Yep. So quick backstory, August of 2015, I'm from a town called Wayne, New Jersey. It's like northern New Jersey. I had a friend. So there's 2 high schools in my town. I had a friend from the other side of town, the other high school, buy his own car, C-A-R. He bought his own car with $30,000 when he was 17. You get your license when you're 17. He was a friend of a friend. So I asked him, I was like, dude, how do you have $30,000 for 17? He's like, I buy and sell sports cards. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I buy and sell sports cards. And I was like, you got to show me. I love sports. I love money. I was delivering pizza at the time, my senior year of high school. And I started to do it. I got pretty good at it, like making like 3 to 5K a month, probably. Like, really good for like 18 years old, being in college. I used it to pay for school. And then my last summer going to my senior year, so I went to Rutgers University, which is in New Jersey. I was studying finance and statistics. And my last summer, I was like, you know what? Like, let me see what my degree could get me. So I got an internship. I was a financial analyst. I quit after 5 days. It was the worst 5 days of my life, sitting in a cubicle. Nothing's wrong with it, but the people I worked with, I did not like. I did not like being confined to a cubicle. So I said to myself, sports cards is great. I got to learn how to make more money so I don't need a job. And then that's when I started getting into Amazon FBA. The first semester of my senior year, I failed. And then January of 2019 is when I got into drop shipping. And
you went through the whole business,
everything, bro. I used to just work all day. So I failed out of college at the end because of this. And I was so motivated. I used to go to the library every day or every Sunday and I would go swimming at the gym. I'd go to Wendy's at 9 a.m. I'd have 4 hamburgers. I'd sit there all day from about 9 to 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. just testing 4 new products. It takes a lot to get a product up on Shopify. And also it was like a ticking time bomb in my head. Like I had to make some money, like enough to like live by myself before graduation in May of 2019. So I was under a lot of pressure in my head. In reality, there's no pressure, but I was under a lot of pressure in my head. And then I was testing different products. And then in April, May, like a month before graduation, I came across a product. It was like these woman pair of sandals, like these colorful sandals. Yeah. And I tested some ads. People started to buy them. Long story short, in a 30-day window, I scaled it to $60,000 in 1 month with 25% margins. And I was like, I made it. This is great. I ended up failing out, but I was like, I don't care. Like, I made money. And I remember I was partying in San Diego, celebrating with a few friends. And I started to get some refunds. I was like, okay, like weird, more refunds. And long story short, my supplier in China screwed me over. The products he was selling to them, not shipping to them, not what they looked like. piece of advice to drop shippers: get the product in before you try to scale it. Right? It's common sense, but I didn't know. Long story short, I lost every single penny I had. I saved up about $50,000-$60,000 from flipping sports cards. Lost it all. I started taking out a loan for my brother. Every single what I would do is I would go to a sports card convention every week. I'd say, "Hey, Brian, my brother," I'll be like, "Hey, give me $10,000 in cash. I'll give you back $500 in profit. Just let me hold it for like a week or two to flip some sports cards." Got myself back on my feet. My business partner, John, he was my ex-housemate in college junior year. He also failed out. Common theme here. And we were on the phone. We decided to partner up. We would go, lives in Long Island. We would go back and forth between Long Island and New Jersey trying to start this business. Real estate agency is what we first got into. And then in December of 2019, I was like, you know what? If you're serious about this, let's go lock ourselves in a room in Miami. Let's go down to Miami, lock ourselves in a room. It took a lot of convincing from him because he had a new girlfriend. It's not the thing to tell your girlfriend when you first start dating. I'm going to go to Miami. I don't know when I'll be back, right? And then he's close with his family, but I convinced him because I gave him an ultimatum. We went down there, March of 2020. He's like, March of 2020, right? The pandemic, right? Crypto's going crazy, comic books, sports cards, like all that alternative assets.
Sure.
And he knew how to set up a website. I knew how to set up an ad. And we're like, well, he comes up to me. He's like, dude, like, I think we can make money teaching people how to make money buying and selling sports cards. He commented under a Gary V tweet. Gary V used to be big into sports cards. Yeah. He had a question like, would you guys be interested in a sports card program teaching how to do this? He got like 20 DMs saying, dude, where can I find this? And he showed me. And even though he showed me that, I was like, that is a stupid idea. That'll never work. But we're like, screw it. Let's set up a simple opt-in, a video, a calendar. We launched it on a Friday. And then on Monday was when the calendar went live and we started taking calls. And it just went, viral right away. Like $5 book calls. We spent $100 in a day. The first day, we, whatever that is divided by 5. And the calendar filled up for the week. And I saw that happening. So Saturday and Sunday, I was like, holy shit, like I have nothing to sell these people. Yeah. So I don't know if I should be saying this on camera, but I took 2 Adderalls back-to-back days. I don't take Adderall anymore. I never took it a lot. Made this course, took everything I had, put it into videos. Yeah. Then Monday came, started taking sales calls. I was just like, dude, you got to do this. Like, and I just made up a price $1,000. And that's when I learned, like, wait a second, I got to learn how to like sell these people. Then I learned, wait a second, I got to like get more people on this calendar. So you figure out I got to learn marketing and sales, but that's the beginning story of the business.
So what, because I think a big piece of it that you talked about is just kind of like that perseverance of like, because you tried a bunch of stuff, right? You tried all these like biz op things. So what would you say to someone that's like maybe on like in that same situation where they see all these ads from a bunch of people in the room of like, try this biz op, do drop shipping here, Amazon FBA, like whatever, like what would you say to someone to just like, hey, like focus in, maybe, lock yourself in a
yeah, I mean,
what would you say to them?
I'm a pretty severe, intense person. You could probably tell. I would say in terms of starting a business, if you want to make money and quit your job, or like scale your business, if you want to quit your job, the best thing you could ever do is not do what I did. Go, like, let's say you're passionate about fitness and weight loss. Don't start a business. You go be a sales rep for a successful business. You get paid to learn, right? And then when you start a business, you don't start like I did, because we made a lot of money when it went viral, then lost all the money, made money, lost money. You don't have to do that, right? You can learn automated text, CRMs, and how to sell people, get paid to do that, right? So that's the most effective way, in my opinion, to start a business. And the best business to start is not e-commerce, because if you guys are like a little advanced who are watching this, like e-com, the name of the game is to break even on the front end with ads, maybe be a little bit profitable, and then like then get people to buy like cross sells, upsells, and like you need a lot of upfront money. With info and selling your knowledge, you don't need as much money. There's no cost of goods, right? You're selling your information. Now there is, once you have coaches and stuff and labor and all that stuff. But the best thing to do to get in and start is be a sales rep for a company you want to work for. And the best way to scale, if you're not scaling, go still work for a company that's successful. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Cold, when we had our BDC offer, like Cold, that was his story basically. It's just like he had an agency, he wasn't good at sales, and then he just like kind of ate shit for a couple months or a couple years really in a sales role, and then just like was the worst person, became the best person, and then just learned like sales. And when you learn that, it's like that's like the lifeblood.
So Cole is a great example, right? He always I think he kind of forgets to say sometimes, like, so he's like, we started and by myself, I was doing like $200K a month, right? Yeah. What he doesn't mention is he was selling for years and years and understood like CRMs and like what an ad is. Like when I launched that business and it went viral right away, I didn't know what a lead was. I didn't know what a sales call was. I didn't know CRM. I didn't know what these things were. Like, I didn't know Go High Level, even though I was using it, was a CRM that could have an automated text. These simple things you don't know. But like, he was able to scale to 200K a month or whatever it was, right? Because he knew how to sell. He knew how to market. He understood these things. Like, if you start by yourself, you don't. So
yeah. So what was the so you start figuring it out, you're selling the actual product. What was like the journey from there? Maybe some of like the challenges that you hit in order to scale, and then how did you ultimately find us?
So we launched in March of 2020. It's like 30 to 50K a month. Some months we make money, some months we don't. We find you guys, and originally why we joined you guys is because we wanted a sales guy, because we thought that was the solution. It was not the solution. But once we joined you guys, we're like, wait a second, like, you could manage a sales team, like, there's a thing, it's a process there, like, there's a process to ads. So it unlocked all these like beliefs. So we grinded from August of 22 to like December of 23. We got it to like 100K a month cash with like 20-ish% profit. It's still not that good, because in our market, we sell to people that just have never bought a program. They've never been on a sales call. Like, the skepticism is very high. So I can go into that next. Once I learned what a webinar was, so I didn't know. I thought a webinar was a thing that people did 20 years ago. When Cole first used the word webinar, I was like, people still do that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But once I learned what that was, and I got good at that, which I could talk about that next, that's what changed everything. And then we started piling stuff on top of that. But there was like one individual thing, which there's not, but one biggest thing was learning what a webinar was and then getting good at it.
Yeah. So yeah, let's break into that. So a big piece of obviously your guys' process is building out that webinar and then selling it on the front end, upselling. So just high level, like if someone is either thinking about doing a webinar, like what are some things that you would have them keep in mind? Like,
you want high level or like the step by step?
Let's start with the high level,
okay,
and then we can go deeper.
Okay. So high level webinar. If you are running, so there's two things you could do with a webinar. There's something called affiliates, where you go to someone and say, hey, send out an email to your list, bring them to my webinar, I'll split the cash with you. We don't do that. That's one way. That's lower risk, right? There's no cost of ad spend, right?
Yeah.
The other way is running cold ads to it, which is very scalable if you crack that. A webinar, it's someone clicks on an ad, gives you their information, and watches a webinar. That is not going to make you money. The name of the game is upselling the people that buy on the webinar to a higher ticket program. Then also, a good webinar, you're only going to convert about 2% of traffic, maybe 3. Like, we're really good, we get 3. But that's not profitable.
Yeah.
Like, it's what you do with the other 97% of people that do not buy. And having a setting team and a sales team calling them and selling them your lower ticket or your higher ticket, that's where the money's made. A webinar is just gravy. It's like extra sauce. It's like, here's some extra money. Then, like, it's very, very difficult to just be profitable with a cold ad webinar. It's like nearly impossible. There's one company I know of that was able to scale it pretty high. Outside of that, I don't know it.
Yeah. So from a webinar perspective, like if someone's never written a webinar, or maybe even they've never even seen a webinar, so what does the flow look like? Just like kind of, dive into that a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A high level as we can go.
Okay.
I mean, I get it, right? There's a lot of different pieces, but if someone like, I guess maybe I framed it wrong, of like if someone doesn't know anything about it, but let's say like they know a little bit about webinars, they've seen into a couple.
Okay, so the structure of a webinar, you introduce yourself, you give yourself authority, you transition to the pillars, which is usually 4 pillars on how your product works. You get them to agree that this makes sense. You price anchor them, and then you drop the price, and then you have about 5 to 8 bonuses, free bonuses for joining on the webinar. And then you handle objections, like, how much time does this take? Well, it only takes 30 minutes a day. Like, you handle a common objection. That's like the structure of a webinar. The highest leverage thing you could do when testing a webinar is the price. So we sell our webinar for $397 times 5. On our webinar, we're like, you can only buy this for $397. I don't want you to pay the whole thing up front. Then you can make 4 more monthly installments afterwards. That for us converts at a 2+% rate, as opposed to when we tried selling for just $997 straight up, just like 0.5%. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
So like the pricing tests are, they're intense because you have to like redesign the whole webinar, do it again. But that, in my experience, is the highest lever thing. And you just don't know where your audience is at, right? And like, then we went down to like $397 times 5 works for us. We went down to $197 times 10, plummet.
Huh. Okay.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
But like that's the highest leverage that you could do as long as you have like your story and all the stuff in sequence.
Yeah. So obviously a big piece that we talk about too is like the webinar is one thing, but like everything that happens on the back end, you talk a lot about upsells, into your core product, and even from there, continuation and giving people a lot longer term.
Yeah.
So what is like that process? So someone comes through, let's say they buy the 397. I think you do an immediate upsell. It's like, hey, take care of this all right now, which is kind of like a little secret thing. And then you get them on a setter, like just kind of break down the process from they buy the webinar for the 397 times 5. What happens after that to get them upsold?
Yeah. So it's like 397 times 5. And I would not go all out at this and do all this all at once because you want to, it's not for everybody. Yeah. It's like, hey, buy this. It's only 397 up front. On the next page, it's like, whoa, you want to give us 2 more payments to save in the last 2? So give us another $794. They do. About 50% of people do. And then on the next page, they book their onboarding call. It's a group, a Zoom call we do twice a day at 11 and 5 p.m., 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. At the end of that onboarding call, we make sure everyone books their success call, which is their set. And then we upsell them to a $10,000 program, which, long story short, is more one-on-one coaching and it makes your life easier to make money with sports cards. It's actually like well worth it. It's not just like some gimmicky thing. It is actually way better than the $2,000 program, even though the $2,000 is pretty good. So that's like the simple process.
Yes. No, I think that's good because it's like there's so many like pieces through the whole thing, and obviously you spent the last couple of years like refining it. But like if someone wanted to start with a webinar, in the next week or so, what would you say? Don't do it.
My advice is to not do it.
Yeah.
If it's the core of your business, do not do it. It's a gruesome game to play. But send it out to you. The first live webinar, do it live. Your conversion rate is always higher live. Just to put it in perspective, about so like 3% of people not live buy with cold traffic. About 9 to 10% of people when I do it live buy. Okay, live is always better. And then send out an email to your list. Don't spend any money in any ads. Like if you want to add a webinar into your business, the best way to do it is to use it as an extra function to tackle people that didn't buy on a sales call and just send out to your list once a month. Making it the core of your business, it's a brutal game. And like there's other ways that are other higher leverage things to get to a 100K plus a month than that. Sure. In my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. So I guess from that, so you went from the 30 to the million, like, and that took, I mean, that was what, 2.5 years ish, maybe a little bit.
Like August of 22 to like March of 2025. Yeah, something like that.
So what were like maybe some of the, obviously the webinar is a big piece, but what were some of the other like, I guess, high leverage things that you did in order to like hit like kind of those next like milestones?
Wow. Okay, I'm dropping all the good stuff today. Okay, so I'll just go in order. So we launched the webinar, we get to 300K a month. We start testing 3 ads per day. That it gets us to 500K a month. Same ad spend, so our margins are now high. We start pushing crazy organic because I'm beginning to realize if you're famous, you can make a lot of money if you know business, right? Like Cardone, Iman Gadzhi, like these guys know all this ad webinar stuff, but they're also famous, or like famous on YouTube at least. So we started pushing tons of organic, even though like we only have 20,000 subs. Like now people in the funnel they know who Eric is. Like our goal, we're never going to sell our business, is just to build Eric. We want to make Eric famous. Like that's our goal. Just piggyback off of my voice. So pushing a lot of organic got us like 600-700K a month. August of 24, like it was always a dream of John, my business partner, and I to get an office. So I moved from Scottsdale. I actually used to live where Cole lived, to Tampa because John, my business partner's family, lives here. And we rented an office, like in WeWork. If you guys know what WeWork is, it's a place where you
Co-working.
Yeah, co-working space. We got an office that fits 12 people. We started to recruit setters in the Tampa area in office. And now the setters, they work, a lot of setters work like 3-4 hours a day at the most. Our setters work 8 hours a day. And they set like 8 to 10 appointments a day, double as productive as others. And that really got us to $1 million with like not much more ad spend. Like our return on ad spend is about 7-ish on a given month. So that was like step by step by step by step.
Yeah, and obviously like there's a lot of work that goes in each of those pieces. But we're trying to condense it down for in 30 minutes as we can. So what were, I guess, from one thing that you talked a lot about in like your talks, and even when people ask questions, like is just getting your sales team on like the same page and really making sure they're hitting KPIs. So like, because your business partner does the sales,
He manages the sales team, and then I do everything else.
Okay. When you said that, I was like, oh, you just do everything else. But the sales part is obviously massive.
You know, he has more stress. He's not more stress than me.
Yeah.
Even though he's just managing the sales team.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
So as much as you can speak on it, what were some maybe things that you've done with the team that is like giving them more? You're in person, obviously that helps a lot, but things that you've been able to do with them, like 2 or 3 things that has helped their performance overall.
Okay, so motivating every single day, having a rapid reward system, so they get paid out every single day. You close a deal on Monday, it hits payroll on Tuesday, you actually get the money on Wednesday. So it's very motivating seeing in your bank account, like one day was $80, the next day was $300, then $100, and like you get pissed when you get paid, then you get paid a lot. That's number one. Number two, we have a daily leaderboard game. Long story short, whoever does the best on a daily basis gets $150. That motivates them a lot. And also number three, the thing that I think is the highest leverage thing people could do is having an office. Like, just think about it simply and logically. A setter at home, they might go on Facebook, they might go on YouTube, they might go for a walk. If you're in office, it's like, no, you don't. Like, what are you gonna do? Go on YouTube in front of my face?
Scroll and TikTok.
Right? And also the way we hire, so it's the first person I ever learned sales from was from Jordan Belfort. Like, when I didn't know what a sales call was, he's the only thing I ever knew about sales. So I saw the movie, obviously. I started watching his training videos, and we take after him in terms of, like, we have a copy and paste script. You do not deviate from the script. Like, there's no reason to say words that are not on that Google Doc. We have everything accounted for. And even the tonality, like, here you say up and then a little bit of a secret and then down. So, like, it's very copy and paste. So we've opened up the ability, the way we hire, one, we only hire people we would get a beer with. That's the first metric we go for. And then number two, like, are you like a hard ass worker?
Yeah.
Because a lot of remote high ticket setters like aren't.
How do you get over that though? Like, I feel like everyone's gonna say like, oh, I'm a hard worker. Is there like another question of like, when
we interview them, we role play them first, and then, but so being in an office, it doesn't matter if you're a hard worker or not, because can't not be.
Yeah,
and it's also embedded into our culture. But you get a sense. And then, like, only about 50% of the people make it through training. So if we get the vibe from someone that they're not a hard worker, they're not as bought in as we want them to, we just let them go.
Yeah.
So we usually hire 2 setters at once, and usually only one makes it through after a week.
Yeah.
But it's embedded in the culture now, right? You get 1 hardworking person, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. You have 6 hardworking people in an office. If someone comes in with 70% energy, and they see all these other people at 100% energy, they're just naturally now a hard worker.
Yeah.
Fit into the culture. So that's how you start off with being very specific. Those first 2 hires you make are a big deal.
Yeah. So, you've been in STA and then boardroom, for the last really 2 going on 3 years, I guess. So what's kept you here? Like, why are you still coming back?
It's a good question.
Because you get to be a speaker?
Yes, actually, I did speak and I get nothing from it. The only thing I get from it, my thought process was, even though I have nothing to sell people, I don't even do consulting. Like, someone asked me for consulting and I told them, dude, I'd charge you $100,000 a day. Like, I don't do consulting.
Yeah.
But just look at my Asana. All these little golden nuggets, little key things you learn. I get the most from sitting down and then hearing people speak. There's always something to learn. And now the fact that I get to speak, and I guess people respect me, for lack of a better term. Like, there's might be someone that only does $100K a month compared to my $1 million a month. He's better at organic than I am.
Yeah.
Right. Like, John, my business partner, I've always went back and forth on this. I think there's something to learn from everyone. John thinks there's only something to learn from someone who makes more money. Like, I think he's someone who does $10K a month, but they're popping on IG. That's our biggest bottleneck, in my opinion. Like, organic. You have something to learn from him, and he has way more to learn from us. But it's a good trade of services still. Like, I can help you with paid ads. You can help me with organic. So those connections. Also, I like it. Hopefully that's a good answer.
Yeah, no, that was great. So what would you say to someone that is like, because obviously we talk to a lot of people, and what would you say to someone that's like maybe been through a coaching program before, or they've tried recruiting or something along those lines, and they're just like really on the fence of working with us specifically? What would you say to them is like, hey, you need to jump in with Cole and
Well, I started at 30K. I don't even know what a setter was, and which is someone who sets up appointments for your closer. And now I'm at $1 million, right? And setters are, in my opinion, the most important part of the business. And they taught me what it was, so they probably have a clue of what they're doing. And also, Cole is the one who introduced me to what a webinar was. Like, I didn't know what that was 2.5 years ago. And also, the reality of it, is like people say like this program's a scam, that program's a scam. No program's a scam. Like no one takes your money, just does nothing with it. You have something to learn from every single program. And the reality of business, whether it's sports cards, whether it's a garbage business, whether it's B2B, what you guys do, everything works. You just have to force it to work. If it was easy, everyone else would do it, right? You just have to, as Hormozy says, like, don't get distracted. You just have to stay laser focused. Like I'm not, to my credit, I have a lot of screw ups. The one thing I've never screwed up is staying laser focused. I don't deviate. I have no interest in consulting, like I just mentioned before. I have no interest in starting another business. Like I'm going to build this into $1 billion play and turn it into like, we have ideas to turning it into like collectible, like side income university.
Nice.
But yeah, that's cliche, focus and just work hard. But
Yeah.
that's the reality of it, unfortunately.
It's the basic stuff that like people overlook, and it is the cliches, but it's like those are the things that need to be dialed in on in order for things to work in the first place. So, I mean, you just kind of touched on it. So what are your guys' goals? Let's say, I'm not saying like give me a 3-year, 5-year vision, but just like you just got the office yesterday at the time of recording this. So what's kind of on the horizon of like what are you guys trying to do over the next couple of years?
Yeah, so it's funny. We've never had a goal. We don't like say like I want to do $1 million a month. I want to do $5 million a month. We're just going to push it until there's huge laws of diminishing returns. We think personally, we've seen offers like ours get to 10 million a month. Is it possible? Who knows? Like there's book offers that have got there and stuff, but which is similar. But like, I think we could easily get it to 3 to 5 million a month. And we want to turn this into like side income university. So think sports cards now, but like flipping like gold coins and then stamps and comic books and vintage video games and going to garage sales and stuff like that. It's a huge market, and the good thing about it is it's actually realistic. Like we're not promising to make $50K next month. It's like, dude, make $2,000 a month, have a fun time doing it, cover the mortgage. So that's our long-term goal, to use my personal brand and keep going super hard with organic and piggyback off of my voice and my
One thing that you just brought up, that last question, because I just do want to kind of go back to that, is so one thing that is unique about your offer, obviously, like just, the flipping, I'm not in that world. So like maybe there's a lot of offers that try to do that as well. Like
nah, not really
cards. So I guess that's one benefit. But I guess the unique piece is, when you look at most BizOp offers, it's like, here's how to make $1 million in, 3 months, or here's how to make the next $100,000 month. But you guys are just like, you don't do that. It's kind of the opposite. And you're like, hey, like if you just want to make a couple thousand extra bucks a month, like, so what, how have you seen that impact like the way that you do sales, and just like kind of speak on that?
Well, from everything, it helps every. So our market or our best avatar is a white collar, busy professional. When I say white collar, I mean someone that works from behind a computer, and preferably someone in their 50s. The older they get, the more they close.
Yeah,
because they have more money, which makes sense. But they come in, right? So being realistic and speaking in terms of your avatar. So like we use the words like 401k, Roth IRA, index fund, hedge fund, all that stuff, right? That naturally attracts someone higher quality. And then it's higher quality people are generally more skeptical, right? So then we're pairing that with, dude, this is not going to make you rich. This will not make you $1 million. But if you want to cover the mortgage, possibly, come click.
Yeah.
Right. So they're like, oh, okay, this is actually realistic, right? So you're bringing a higher quality audience. And on the sales call, now you've built more trust, because they're not like, it's not many people come in skeptical if you're telling them they're going to make $2K a month.
Yeah.
Right. Like very few people do. And then when they actually join the program, it's much easier to work with a client that wants to make $2K than $20K. Right.
Yeah.
And then when you make them $3K, like right under promise and over deliver, right, they're over the moon. But if you told them $20K and you made them $3K, they go on Trustpilot and give you a 1-star, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how marketing and sales intertwine.
Yeah, I think that's super cool, because again, it's like when you what would they say, like when everyone zigs, you zag. It's like you're kind of just doing the opposite, and then it's like you said, you underpromise.
It is just telling the brutal truth. Like sports cards is for the most part a side income. Like God forbid you have to tell the truth and just say exactly what.
Yeah,
like that is also part of it as well. But it also brings in a higher quality audience, which is a plus.
Yeah. Cool, man. So I'm gonna do an outro, and then I just want you to think of like one, like understanding that the audience for this is like people, agencies, coaches, that type of thing. Just think of one thing that you want someone to leave with, and I'll give you like 60 seconds.
Can it be something I said or something different?
Maybe something maybe you adding on to what you already said. Something, it doesn't matter. Just I'll give you like 30 seconds. Just think of that.
Okay.
All right. So those of you that are watching this far into it, probably 30 minutes in, is at this point you're probably like, okay, like how can these guys actually help me grow my coaching business, agency, consulting business, things like that. So what I want you to do is down in the description of this video or in the show notes on the podcast app is a really quick video that breaks down really more specifically exactly what we do, how we can potentially help you, whether you're just getting started, you need to come up with an idea, create an offer, all the way up to, I mean, everyone in this room, you have to be doing 100 grand a month to be in this room, and then being able to just scale from there. So with that being said, click the link down below this video and check out the quick video. And yep, we'll see you on that side. So what we got for the tip?
My tip when it comes to coaching offers and all that fun stuff is don't think. Just blindly follow. If someone makes more money than you, just blindly follow what they say, and then you deviate once it starts to work. Too many people will join or like listen to a coach and be like, "Oh yeah, he said this, but maybe I might try this first." Just don't. Just blindly follow. Just blindly listen, and it'll take you a long way being a good listener and executing at a high level.
Let's go. All right. Well, Eric, thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll put his information down in the description below as well. It's going to go out to the list, and you guys will see us. If you want to check out what he's doing over with his company and as he continues to grow, then you can click those links down in the description. That being said, Aaron here from the Closer.io team. This was Scaling Less Stupid. See you guys in the next one. Talk soon.